Hello, my name is Layne Taylor and I will be discussing why the government should not raise the minimum wage. According to Cato.org, a 2006 review of more than 100 minimum wage studies by David Newmark and William Washer found that about two-thirds found negative employment effects. This shows that raising the minimum wage is hazardous to both employment rates and the economy. Today I will be highlighting just a few of the reasons that we should not support raising minimum wage in the United States. Raising the minimum wage would harm our nation's economy by causing job loss, inflation, while also not relieving poverty in any way, leading to major problems for businesses and consumers alike. When discussing whether or not to raise minimum wage, it is imperative to focus on the bigger picture rather than a specific segment of the population. According to Cato.org, nearly 1.3 million jobs will be lost if the federal minimum wage is increased to $9.50 per hour. If minimum wage is increased, it is true that many people may benefit. However, many people will be negatively affected in the long run by the raising of minimum wage. Not only will millions of people lose their jobs if minimum wage is raised, but raising minimum wage will also stunt job growth and creation. According to Aserios, using 3 separate state panels of administrative employment data, we find that minimum wage reduces net job growth primarily through its effect on job creation by expanding establishments. If we as a nation are looking to expand our earning potential to improve our financial situation, then raising minimum wage is not the solution. Raising minimum wage does not just affect employment rates and job growth. It affects the cost of living as well. According to Jay Wibby, increasing the minimum wage may have impacts beyond adding more money to employees' pockets. A Purdue University study released in July 2015 suggests that paying fast food restaurant employees $15 an hour could lead to higher prices. Prices at those businesses could increase by an estimated 4.3% according to the report. If businesses are expected to pay their employees a higher minimum wage, then they have no choice but to lay the burden of the cost onto the customers. If the cost of living goes up, then salaries of non-minimum wage jobs will have to increase as well. This puts an incredible strain on the economy and devalues the dollar. Investopedia says the following about the subject. In 2014, fast food workers in the United States were asking for a minimum wage of $15 an hour, or almost double what they were earning. Had their demand been granted, a typical burger flipper or order taker at McDonald's would have ended up earning more than $30,000 per annum. That's where the quote ends. Suffice it to say, raising the minimum wage to an excessively high rate would exert inflationary pressure on the economy, but increasing it to keep pace with inflation would only have a minimal effect. That is where the quote ends. Raising minimum wage leads to inflation. Trying to raise minimum wage to combat inflation is futile and counterproductive, making it the least viable option when discussing alleviating financial pressure. As we can see, raising minimum wage could spell serious trouble for our economy and the value of our nation's currency. Raising minimum wage hurts both the economy as a whole and the demographic that raising minimum wage intends to help. According to Cato.org, in the previous federal minimum wage increase from $5.15 to $7.25 per hour, only 15% of the workers who were expected to gain from this increase lived in poor households, according to a 2012 review by Mark Wilson. If the minimum wage were today raised to $9.50 an hour, only 11% of workers who would gain live in poor households. This shows us that raising minimum wage will not relieve the strain of poverty that is so prevalent in the United States. The majority of those who earn below the poverty line do not have minimum wage jobs. A large component of the poverty issue is unemployment. Many of those who live in poverty are unemployed, meaning that simply increasing minimum wage is not a solution to this problem. Economy21.org addressed the dilemma concerning using minimum wage to alleviate poverty as follows. Real problems such as poverty require real solutions, such as improving the education system so people are better prepared to earn higher wage jobs, or attracting more businesses to America by lowering our 35% corporate tax rate to our competitors' average of 24%. Raising the minimum wage is well-intentioned, but it is not a real solution to poverty. Here's where the quote ends. If we are to reduce the strain of poverty, we need to seek out solutions other than raising minimum wage. In closing, we can see that raising minimum wage is not the right choice for the United States. Raising minimum wage leads to job loss, inflation, and offers little relief to those struggling with poverty. We must seek alternative solutions to address the financial situation that has plagued our nation for many years. We must work together to seek the right solution. It is clear that the wrong solution is to raise minimum wage. Thank you.